He knew about the French Revolution. When the black folks, especially the ones in the mountains, learned about the French Revolution, they're like, wait a minute. The French just revolted in France because they said they want their freedom? What the hell? We want our freedom also. Other thing, back to those Maroons in the mountains, was those Africans developed, as they did everything, they developed their own religion. And the religion was a combination of West African religions and Catholicism. And that morphed into something called voodoo. And the voodoo priests were the most powerful black people in Haiti. Like, people listened to them. And they were the ones in the mountains who were talking about revolution.
Hello everyone, and welcome to... This is the Caribbean, and here's Haiti. Now let's go, shall we? Haiti, in the Taino language, means land of tall mountains, and consists of the western third of the island we call Hispaniola. For thousands of years, the Arawak Taino people dwelt, hunted, farmed, and fought in the tumbling valleys and under mist-skirted peaks. Then their world, as they knew it, wilted away with the arrival of the Europeans. Columbus claimed it for Spain in 1492, and left a contingent of settlers at La Navidad, who all ended up slaughtered by the Taino. But if the natives thought problem solved, they couldn't have been more mistaken. The Spaniards returned, subjugated them, and then made them extricate all the rock-embedded riches they could from assorted gold mines, and after exhausting the stores of that precious metal, largely abandoned the island, leaving it in a most ravaged and desolate condition, its indigenous residents decimated by introduced disease. So Haiti sorrowed in the sun, as bit by bit the French began setting up shop on its shores. In 1697, the French occupation of the western bit of the island was formally recognized by Spain, and many thousands of African slaves were shipped over to labor on plantations of coffee and sugar. It was called Saint-Domingue, and it became an enormously profitable region. The condition of the slaves was far from ideal, however, horrendous in fact, and the wind from Europe brought whispers of new ideas of liberty and the rights of man, and the colony was tense with resentment between class and race. And then, one summer night in 1791, a voodoo ceremony and a thunderstorm called for revolt, and it happened. The Haitian Revolution began with uprisings of slaves against their owners, and it escalated from there, fueled by a frenzied hunger for vengeance. Plantations were set ablaze, their proprietors murdered, and slaves were unshackled across the land. France itself was in the middle of its own revolution, and things were very muddled, and amid the Caribbean chaos, one man rose to dominance, as is customary. Toussaint Louverture, a formidable military commander, who bit by bit asserted his authority until the entire island was under his rule. Meanwhile, Napoleon had taken control of France, and sent a force to get the lucrative colony back. The troops were soon decimated by disease, but after months of fighting, Louverture surrendered, and was permitted to retire. But then the French changed their minds and arrested him. He died in prison the following year. The fighting went on, with Jean-Jacques Dessalines decisively defeating the French at the Battle of Vertières and proclaiming the independence of Haiti on the first day of 1804, with himself as its emperor. Dessalines then ordered the remaining whites to be exterminated, and himself ended up assassinated in 1806. Haiti then split in two with different leaders, until Jean-Pierre Boyer united the country again, and even took control of the Spanish bit of the island, the future Dominican Republic. Nevertheless, the people feared the French would return, and were eager to settle things via negotiation. France agreed to recognize Haiti's independence at a price. Haiti was ordered to pay a massive amount of money to France, and Boyer said, okay, and Haiti has been impoverished ever since. The Dominicans gained independence from Haiti in 1844, and Haitian attempts to get it back only failed. Unhappy Haiti underwent many years of political misfortune and diplomatic humiliation, alongside its debilitating debt payments. Then, in 1915, the US invaded and occupied it. Why? Well, America was concerned over the widespread insurgency and growing German influence and interest in Haiti. So in went the Marines, and the Haitians were not exactly overjoyed, though the Americans built quite a lot of stuff. Anyway, the US withdrew its forces in 1934, and Haitians went back to running things. Then, in 1937, the Dominican dictator next door expressed his displeasure at the Haitians living in his country by ordering them all killed. Alright, now for some good news. The 1950s saw a time of increased tourism and, well, no, that's about it. Back to the bad news. 1957 saw Dr. François Duvalier elected president, better known as Papa Doc. He rose to power by harnessing the long-standing racial discontent present in Haiti. The country was largely run by the urban mulatto class, while the black Haitian majority were mostly rural farmers and considerably poorer. Papa Doc promoted the cause of the majority, but also made sure to promote himself, and formed a viciously effective paramilitary, the Tonton Macoute, to intimidate enemies and crush opposition. He even claimed to have killed US President John F. Kennedy by a voodoo curse. Anyway, after thousands of murders and lots of corruption and repression, he died died and was followed by his son, nicknamed Baby Doc. And things didn't get much better, and popular resentment eventually compelled him to step down and go into exile in France in 1986. When a left-wing reformist priest was elected, whose policies threatened the elite, a 1991 military coup kicked him out. This ultimately prompted US intervention in Operation Uphold Democracy, and in stepped 20,000 troops, and Aristide was reinstated and promptly disbanded the Haitian military. While international aid increased and reforms were attempted, things just wouldn't go right. Crime increased, poverty expanded, and tropical storms struck one after the other. So the UN went in with the Brazilian army to keep order, with mixed results. Then there was a magnitude 7 earthquake that killed over 100,000 people. Then, amid the recovery, a cholera epidemic broke out, and another hurricane hit, and then another, and then another. But none of this stopped Haitian novelist Dimitri Ilyas Léger from writing a book called God Loves Haiti. And Kanye West is interested in building a city of the future in this troubled but undeniably beautiful land. Now the question is, what awaits Haiti in the days and years ahead? Comment below. But for now, bye-bye!
चिकन और कुछ राइस खा रहे हैं। कैसा है खाना?
खाना तो अच्छा है।
कैसा लगा आपको ये आइलैंड, मतलब ये एरिया?
आइलैंड एरिया टूरिस्ट है।
तो ये
पिछले कुछ सालों में आपने सुना ऑपरेशन गंगा के बारे में, ऑपरेशन दोस्त के बारे में। हमको अपने इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स को यूक्रेन से वापस लाना पड़ा। जब मिडल ईस्ट में सिचुएशन ख़राब हुई, हमको वहाँ से इंडियंस को वापस लाना पड़ा। ऐसा ही एक ऑपरेशन है, ऑपरेशन इंद्रावती। इस ऑपरेशन में हम एक कंट्री जहाँ से इंडियंस को वापस लाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, आपको मिलेगी नॉर्थ अमेरिका और साउथ अमेरिका के बीच में। ये जो कैरेबियन रीजन पड़ता है ना, यहाँ से एक क्रिकेट टीम बना करते थे जिसको हम वेस्ट इंडीज़ बोलते थे। तो कैरेबियन में बहुत सारी कंट्रीज़ है, जिसमें से एक है हाथी। हाथी में से हम असल में इंडियंस को वापस लाने के लिए इस ऑपरेशन को शुरू कर चुके हैं। अब रीज़न क्या है, क्यों वापस लाना है? वहाँ असल में गैंग वायलेंस और क्राइम बहुत तेज़ी से बढ़ रहा है, जिसकी वजह से वहाँ काफ़ी सारे इंडियंस ने गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से मदद मांगी और अब उनको वापस लाने का प्रोसेस शुरू कर